everybody, welcome to a new video. Today's topic isn't entirely art related, but it still strongly connects to the creative world, especially for those of us who work best outside of the typical 9 to 5 structure. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know that we will be diving into the subject of chronotypes, specifically the night owl chronotype, and whether it's actually healthy to sleep during the day. Spoiler, it turns out we have been taught some serious misinformations. Let's start with the basics. Being a night owl means your body naturally prefers to fall asleep and wake up later. For example, sleeping from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. can be just as healthy as sleeping from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., as long as you follow certain sleep hygiene rules. That includes sleeping in complete darkness to help your body produce melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep, getting enough sleep overall, ideally 7 to 9 hours, though women often need closer to 9 to 10, and keeping a consistent sleep schedule. However, sleep hygiene isn't just about darkness and hours, it's also important to get your vitamin D. So even if you sleep during the day, you still need to expose yourself to sunlight or take supplements to support your overall health. You can just sleep from 8 in the morning until 5 in the evening and expect everything to function perfectly. Your body needs a bit of daylight too. The reason this all matters so much comes down to something called the circadian rhythm. This is your body's internal 24-hour clock that controls processes like hormone release, alertness, metabolism, and body temperature. It's regulated by a region in your brain called hypothalamus and is synchronized primarily by light. Now, here is where it gets even more interesting. Your chronotype isn't just about habits, it's literally in your DNA. Several genes are responsible for regulating circadian rhythms and determining whether you lean more toward being a morning person or a night owl. So these include pair 1, pair 2 and pair 3. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. So these genes influence the timing and length of your circadian cycle. Variants in the pair 3 gene, for example, have been linked to a tendency toward night owl behavior. There are also genes like clock and BMEL1, so these genes produce proteins that drive the circadian cycle itself. If there is a mutation in the clock gene, it can lead to a biological preference for nighttime activity. Then there are genes like CRY1 and CRY2, short for cryptochromes, that act like brakes in the system. They help complete the daily cycle by turning off the clock or BMEL1 activity. So mutation in CRY1 in particular are associated with something called delayed sleep phase disorder, which is very common in night owls. So altogether, your genetics can account for about 40 to 50% of your chronotype. That means if both of your parents are night owls, there is a very good chance you are too. And this isn't just about sleep timing. Night owls have different hormonal rhythms as well. For instance, they produce melatonin later in the evening and release cortisol, this stress hormone that helps you wake up, later in the morning compared to early birds. But here is the catch. Society is not designed for night owls. The modern world runs on 9 to 5 schedule that aligns well with early birds but often works against the natural rhythm of night owls. And this mismatch can have consequences. It can lead to chronic sleep deprivation, fatigue, and even contribute to long-term health problems like metabolic syndrome, obesity, depression, and cardiovascular diseases, especially when our natural rhythms are ignored or suppressed. Research has shown that when people are allowed to follow their natural sleep-wake-up cycle, their cognitive performance improves, and so does their overall health. This isn't just some made-up excuse to sleep in, there is a real biology and research behind it. In fact, You can even get your chronotype tested through genetic testing, and it's possible to design a sleep and activity schedule that works with your biology instead of against it. Sadly, night owls often face social stigma. We are labeled as lazy or unmotivated just because we don't function well at 7 a.m. I remember learning in school that all the body's regeneration happens before midnight, which, as it turns out, isn't true at all. But misinformation like this is deeply embedded in how society judges people's sleep habits. What's fascinating is that this whole concept of chronotype may have evolutionary roots. According to the sentinel theory, back in the prehistoric times, it was important that someone in the tribe was always awake to protect the group from predators. Some people naturally stayed awake at night to keep watch, while others were active during the day to gather and hunt. This division increased the group's survival chances, and it's likely that our varying sleep patterns today are a result of that evolutionary need. Night owls also tend to have a different brain activity pattern. Studies have shown that they have higher evening activity in their brain's cortex than early birds, which could explain why they are often better at creative tasks and problem solving late at night. That aligns with my personal experience. Most artists I know, myself included, do their best work at night. It's quieter, there are fewer distractions, and your brain just works differently. But again, this brings us back to the issue. Modern society doesn't support this rhythm. As a result, night owls face more obstacles, including greater risk of poor sleep quality, reduced health outcomes, and a lot of judgment from others. And the worst part, we can just flip and switch and become morning person. I have tried. Even if I sleep full 8 hours and force myself to get up early, my body just doesn't cooperate. I'm foggy, I can't concentrate, and I don't truly start functioning until around 11 or noon. It's not lack of effort, it's just how my body works. Thankfully, I'm in a position where I can set up my own schedule because I'm an artist. I can stay up late and sleep in without being punished for it. But I know that not everyone has this privilege, and for many people, living out of the sync with their biology can have serious consequences. And just so you know, I didn't pull all this from some blog post. I actually spoke to 3 doctors about this because I really wanted to make sure I wasn't just convincing myself of something convenient. They all confirmed the same thing. If you sleep in a dark environment, get enough hours of rest and keep your schedule consistent, it doesn't matter what time you go to bed or wake up. What matters is respecting your own rhythm. And now, a little personal win to wrap this up. I passed my final driving exam on the first try. Technically, I still have to wait for the physical license to arrive, but the hard part is over. I've been putting off driving school for years because I had panic level fear of driving, but by the second lesson I was already enjoying it, so I'm officially on the road. So I hope this video was interesting and you learned something new. I really love to talk about this topic, so I hope it was understandable even with my accent and some mispronunciation. And I will see you in the next art vlog. Have a nice day.